300 employees and a catchy new name, Broadcast.com. They decided to go public. So Mark and Todd went on a roadshow to attract investors.
It's not unusual to go to one city and do 2 presentations, hop on your private jet, go to another city, and then take the Concorde, go to London, go to 4 cities there, come back, and so over the period of 2 weeks, you're making 60 presentations.
Everyone we visited placed an order, which is almost unheard of.
Stock in Broadcast.com was priced at $18 a share. On the morning of July 17th, 1998, Mark and Todd stood on the floor of the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. By midday, they could touch the ceiling.
The night before, everybody was guessing, what it might go to, and people were going as high as 25 or 27.
I thought we might run up to $30 or $40 a share.
Only about 1 o'clock, I think it was, we get the word, okay, it's going to open. And we look, and this is a stock that priced at 18. 62 3/4 goes across. I don't know if I screamed, I was jumping, I was high-fiving everybody, I was twirling.
$62 a share. You can't believe it.
It was the biggest IPO in the history of the stock market. It was just an amazing, amazing, amazing experience. I mean, unbelievable.
I think that was the day that your life's changed forever.
For the moment, it was only on paper. But Mark and Todd were suddenly filthy rich. Friends and family who'd shown enough faith to make the minimum investment of $16,000 were now worth nearly $20 million. And 300 of the company's 334 employees were millionaires.
Our second employee was a girl by the name of April. And she almost got fired the first day because Todd asked her to make copies and she did them backwards.
She didn't even know how to use a fax machine, so she was faxing things upside down all day. And the people were calling and saying, there's no print, on who's sending this?
And so we moved her out of being his assistant into doing other stuff, and she did well. And the difference between not being fired and moving her over was worth about $20-some million to her.
A year after the public offering, Mark and Todd sold Broadcast.com to Yahoo for stock options worth more than $6 billion. Soon after, they cashed out.
Me and Todd just, picked up and went to Vegas, gambled like rock stars, bet $1,000 on a hand.
So it was fun to sit around there and not just be freaked out if you lost 4 hands in a row. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. And by the way, that's exactly when you win, too.
We just sat there, smoked cigars, and drank that one night and celebrated our liquidity.
Mark's first purchase was a private jet, a Gulfstream 5, obtained online for $41 million. Then he looked homeward.
The whole idea is not to just get enough in to just keep them alive. The whole idea is to, let's go to the Stanley Cup every year.
Mark's hometown hockey team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, was financially strapped. Mark wanted to run the Pens the way he ran his other businesses. Hands-on, but the Pens just wanted his money.
After a lot of conversation, it came down to, why don't you just be a good little investor and give us your money? It just was not a match to be made. So I went on.
I think Mark learned a lot, and Mark, I think, I'm not sure he had been involved with or thought about trying to buy a sports franchise before, although I think the Mavericks may even have been in the back of his mind then.
The Mavericks, Dallas's lowly NBA franchise, had become Mark's favorite team. A vocal season ticket holder, he was always disappointed by the lack of enthusiasm at the games.
Opening night, you're undefeated, the best is yet to come. This was it, it was exciting. I was pumped up. I was really, really pumped up. And you get there, it's not even sold out. I can do this better. Hey, I can put my money where my mouth is.
Living out every sports fan's dream, Mark bought his own team. He paid Ross Perot Jr. $280 million for the Dallas Mavericks.
This is a dream come true. I'm going to give you every ounce of energy that I possess to turn this team into a winning team.
This is going to be no different. It's only I get to shoot baskets instead of having to read PC manuals or write software programs.
Mark took over a franchise that had been cutting corners to save money. That would change immediately. His first move was to ask the players what would make them happier.
I stood in front of the guys for the first time, and I said, I want to win. I can't hit the jump shots for you, but I can make sure that you're taken care of, that I put you in a position to succeed, and I can make it fun.
Good times lay ahead, but there would be bumps in the road.
Everywhere he went, freaks were sure to follow.
Mark Cuban's on the floor. Well, that's a find right there.
When Mark Cuban bought the Dallas Mavericks, he immediately set out to improve conditions. On the road, he let them stay at the finest hotels. He upgraded the locker room, adding flat-screen TVs to each locker, and providing plush towels and bathrobes.
That was like a $40 million payroll at the time, and we wouldn't spend an extra $50,000 to put them in a position to succeed. That was stupidity.
Whatever it is you need, we're going to provide for you. The expectation is when you get on the basketball court, you're going to believe for the organization and give it all you have.
Hey, Carl, I warned you, baby.
It makes it easy to come to work knowing that your owner and the management has your best interest in mind.
Mark bought the team a 757 and had it customized for his oversized employees. He loaded up on assistant coaches, supplying more on-court support for his investment. The dividends were immediate.
When you got someone paying attention to you, you work harder. When, you know, it's no different than you are at work when you're looking over the top of the cubicle and there's nobody around and you call your buddy.
I think if you look at the way that our young players have grown here into good players, that's probably part of the reason.
Proving to be a man of the people, Mark quickly became the most accessible owner in pro sports. He called season ticket holders directly and answered emails from hundreds of fans every day.
If there's gum on a seat, they're going to tell me. You know, if a light's out by a stair in a stairwell, they're going to tell me.
He literally responds to everybody, which is great because people feel comfortable sending him emails, sending him ideas, and he will take those ideas seriously, and he's actually implemented them.
Mark's enthusiasm proved contagious, and the seats in American Airlines Center began to fill.
When I first got here, they didn't care about the Mavericks at all. It didn't matter what was going on. People were really oblivious to our situation, and when he came on board and really showed his enthusiasm, the whole city just jumped behind us before we even started winning.
All of a sudden they're diving for balls. They're just more active on the floor. The fans can see it, and it just kind of, it started, you know, a little fire, and the fire has become a blaze.
From day one, I mean, he started to fill that arena the best that he could. He made it the place to go.
Mark's first personnel decision, however, was a disaster. Dennis Rodman, the league's resident clown, joined the Mavs and pitched his tent in Mark's guest house.
He laid around all day. He laid around and watched Cartoon Network. He lasted, what, 11 games or something, and 2 suspensions in the middle of them. And, you know, we had a 6-game losing streak in the middle of that. So I was like, you're out of here.
The Mavericks, who hadn't made the playoffs in 10 years, went 31-19 after Cuban took control. The following season would prove historic. The Mavs would reestablish themselves as contenders, and Mark would pay the league a record amount of money in fines.
You can hear the skid all the way over here, Jack!
Mark Cuban levied with a $250,000 fine for repeated criticism of the officials.
Hey, Ballin, how much they paying you? The whistle's there for a reason on this end. You're allowed to use it.
In November, Mark accrued $45,000 in fines for publicly chastising the league's officials. 2 months later, he was slapped with $350,000 in fines for similar offenses.
It's just the way that whole organization is managed. It's managed for failure. That's the stuff I feel is important to the integrity of the game. The NBA should be thanking me for talking about the refs.
At times when he's on the referees a little bit, I think the referee has a little grudge against him, and sometimes they take it out on us as players. So sometimes we tell Mark, hey, just chill out a little bit, but he'll chill out for maybe a possession, but then he's back to his normal self.
In February, Mark drew a $10,000 fine and a 2-game suspension for running onto the court during a brawl.
That was just instinct. I've had guns pulled on me, I've had knives pulled on me. It's just instinct, and it was, you know, silly, but, you know, that's just what it was.
In total, Mark paid the NBA more than $500,000 in fines during the 2000-2001 season. He also matched every dollar with a dollar that went directly to charity.